PNC Park. The Pittsburgh Pirates welcome in the reigning National League champion St. Louis Cardinals. The start of a 3-game series as the Pirates continue their 9-game homestand. Both clubs playing pretty good ball. The Cardinals have won 2 of their last 3. The Pirates have won 4 of their last 6. And boy, they've been evenly matched this year. Greg Brown along with Steve Blass. So Steve, here we are again, rematch of course of the National League Division Series. Pirates took the Cardinals to 5 games. Now these two clubs have split the season series. I guess we can expect the same thing.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting weekend when you take a look at what has happened since 2011. Really even up and down the board until you get to home runs. We've got a few more home runs. They've got a few more stolen bases. So there's no reason to expect anything's going to be given. You would not expect a series sweep, would you, based on those numbers?
You wouldn't think so. The Pirates took 2 of 3 from the Cardinals, first homestand of the season, and a couple of weeks ago, the Cardinals took 2 of 3 at Busch Stadium, so we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Steve, we're still waiting for Francisco Liriano to pick up that first W.
Yeah, and he struggled last time out against the Blue Jays. But you take a look at the other categories versus the Cardinals, 3-1, and at this ballpark he has been outstanding. So what do they say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
See if Francisco Liriano can get to 1-3 as he takes on the St. Louis Cardinals tonight in the first of a 3-game series. Michael Wacha is on the hill for the Redbirds. Yep, the Pirates and the Redbirds. The rivalry continues from Pittsburgh, PNC Park. Coming up next. Ready for baseball here at PNC Park. Russell Martin T-shirts given away on a free shirt Friday, thanks to the folks at Milan. Pretty cool T-shirts, though Russell Martin found out today that he lost his appeal, and once he comes off the disabled list, he will be suspended for a game. Travis Snyder will be suspended 2 games for his participation in that brawl a couple of weeks ago against the Milwaukee Brewers. He begins serving that suspension tonight. The Pirates have added Brent Morel from AAA Indianapolis. And a shame, Steve, that Andrew Lambeau got hurt 2 days ago, because little doubt Lambeau would have an opportunity right now, but he is on the disabled list because he hurt his thumb the other night. So Brent Morel, who didn't have very good numbers at AAA Indianapolis, he'll be here for at least a few games.
For insurance, you got to feel it's been an interesting 10 days or so, because you thought you were going to need all kind of bullpen help because you got beat up in a long game with your bullpen, and then you come up, so you make a move there. So you get 2 gems from Morton and Garrett Cole. So now we go back the other way. So it's been the ebb and flow of a period of time, not just the entire baseball season. And these things happen. You know, you can't write the script that it's going to be all right personnel-wise throughout the 6-month period.
Because of some an off day coming up on Monday, the Pirates can go ahead and go with one less starting pitcher. Have to figure that Wandy Rodriguez will rejoin the team at some point, maybe next week. So Francisco Liriano takes the hill and looking for that first win. Steve, I heard Ray Searage talking about Liriano's last bullpen. Now, Ray gushes all the time anyway. Yep. He's always optimistic, but he was super optimistic about this last bullpen session because Liriano has still, even if it's in the back of his mind, had that slight little groin injury that affected him at the end of spring training. Almost got to the point where he would make that opening day start, but he went ahead, made the start, and you know that can hover over you.
Well, I think it's in your mind as much as physically. You wonder, okay, is it going to go now? Can I just trust it? Instead of thinking about what you're going to try to deliver. So you take a look at the chart for Francisco for the early part of this season. I think he's been okay. He didn't pitch particularly well against the Toronto Blue Jays last time out. And, we actually, to be quite honest, got a little spoiled with Francisco. We expect him to be good all the time, and we want him to be good certainly tonight. I've got a funny philosophy about the first game of a series against a real good ball club that's in your division. I want to get that first win. Just to get any thoughts of getting yourself beat up for the entire weekend. You get this win, you have a good feel going for the rest of the series. So he's pitched well against the Cardinals. He's pitched well in this ballpark, and they're not hitting. I like that mix.
Check out that lineup. Mike Matheny's Cardinals come to town with a record of 18-17. The lineup is brought to you by Honda. Matt Carpenter, really one of the more underrated players in all of baseball, will be followed by Johnny Peralta and Matt Holliday, with Matt Adams hitting cleanup. Yadier Molina, 12 multi-hit games this season, hitting over 300. Alan Craig has been struggling. He'll be followed by Peter Borges, Mark Ellis, a couple weeks off the DL, and Michael Waka. Mike Matheny, in his third year as Cardinals skipper, took the 2013 Redbirds to the World Series.
And make no doubt about it, the Cardinals are where they are right now, 18-17, because of their pitching. It has been a struggling St. Louis Cardinals offense so far this season, but the pitching, that starting rotation, is still very strong.
First pitch strike to Matt Carpenter, hitting .288 for the season. A homer and 13 runs batted in. He's up there in on-base percentage again, and runs scored. And lines this ball into the left center field gap. Matt Carpenter thinking two. Here comes the throw, and he's going to be safe. Don't know if there was a lot of urgency out there. Couldn't tell whether, but that'll set the tone for the series.
Yeah, they're not the running
doubles.
They're not the running Redbirds in terms of stealing bases, but they can still fly around. And I was watching the runner more than Andrew as he went over to cut this ball off. And I'll tell you one thing, Carpenter was going and thinking two until he was going to be forced to shut it down after a big turn, but he saw the opportunity. Didn't get in there by much, but he got in there.
So 2 pitches into the game, Carpenter's at second, and now here's Johnny Peralta. And Tony Sanchez blocks it. Carpenter thought about moving 90 feet and then hit the brakes. A gamble by Carpenter. It pays off.
Expression on Neal's face, thinks he might be able to get a call, but you see the hand coming in, flaps down, and you see the tag up further on the body, similar to that tag play we got from Buster Posey the other night. So The tag not out in front on the hand, but up on the body, and the hand's in underneath.
Hard to believe that is Carpenter's 6th double. That's 3rd on his team behind Matt Adams and Matt Holliday. Carpenter set a Cardinal record last year, collecting 55 doubles. And now Liriano has fallen behind Peralta. 3 balls and no strikes. Peralta with a 6-game hitting streak. 3 of his 7 home runs have come against the Pirates this season. And the strike is called on Johnny Peralta. Francisco Liriano, a no decision October 6th here at PNC Park. That was game 3. The Pirates won it late. He left trailing 3-2. He had given up just 2 runs in 6 innings. A 5th inning 2-run single by Carlos Beltran. And not afraid to go off speed behind in the count, 3-1.
Yep, Peralta deserves that kind of respect. He's that good a hitter. You got an open base, and well delivered by Francisco.
Full count. Pop them up toward right field. Tabata to make the catch. Carpenter will tag, but he won't move. As Tabata gets rid of the ball quickly. A big out there early on for Liriano. We check out the rest of the Pirates defense. Jose Tabata in right with Andrew McCutchen in center and Starling Marte in left. On the infield, up the middle, it's Jordy Mercer and Neil Walker. On the corners, Ike Davis and Pedro Alvarez, and Tony Sanchez catches Francisco Liriano.
You're exactly right. That is a big out coming back from the 3-0 count. Get that first out established. As you take a look at Liriano's battery mate.
Tony Sanchez, the bulk of his starts last year came with Liriano on the hill. So he's used to catching this veteran lefty in his 2nd year with the Pirates. And ball 1 on Matt Holliday.
Never a bad thing for a young catcher to have a veteran pitcher on the mound to kind of work with him, nurse him along, if you will.
Holliday hitting .285, .444 with runners in scoring position. That was the big theme of the Cardinals last year. How well they hit in these situations. They've gotten off to a slow start this year, but not Holliday. He's 2nd in the league with runners at 2nd and or 3rd base. 1 ball and 1 strike on Holliday. Matt Adams on deck.
When you look at Matt Holliday, you never lose the effect of intensity.
Two and one. Eight hits and 22 at bats this season against Pirates pitching. That's a .364 average with this 34-year-old veteran. And now 3 balls and a strike. Take a look at the breeze, Steve.
Yep, you're going to have a little help out toward left field, going kind of quartering across the field, but helping from right center all the way around to the left field foul pole. You see more evidence heading upriver.
3-1.
Wanted inside, tie him up.
Lost him. 94. But high. Well, it's 1st and 2nd. And we check out the umpiring crew behind home plate. It's Jim Wolf. David Rackley is at 1st base. 2nd base umpire is Bill Welke. And the crew chief at 3rd base is Brian Gorman.
The son of one of the all-time great umpires, Tom Gorman. Worked the National League for a long time.
1955 through 1977, Brian's dad, Tom, and was the crew chief in that 1971 National League Championship Series between the Pirates and the Giants. Steve remembers that one.
Do I ever? Like to forget some of it.
Matt Adams takes a strike. Matt Adams, you know, if you had checked out this roster and said on May the 9th, of all these players, who would be in the top 10? Now, you might think Molina or Holiday or even Peralta or Carpenter, but Matt Adams hitting .321, tied for 9th in the league. Liriano out in front 0-2.
That's got to be a big thing for the Cardinals, because you don't always combine good batting averages with a guy with a lot of power. He certainly has a lot of power. Sometimes you get one or the other. You can get both. A lot of consistent contact.
This is interesting too, Steve, because Adams is hitting .362 against righties, just a .154 against lefties, but lefties are hitting .300 against Liriano. There's a ground ball that could be 2. There's 4. A little hesitation, but Walker is going to make the play. He wasn't sure, then decided to go ahead, step on the bag, and throws out Matt Adams for an inning-ending double play. Pirates coming to bat. Be followed by Neil Walker, and then it's Andrew McCutchen and Pedro Alvarez, who has 45 career RBIs against the Cardinals. That's the most against any opponent for Alvarez. Starling Marte next, then Ike Davis, Tony Sanchez, Jordy Mercer, and Francisco Liriano.
Against Michael Walker, we know him well. Very little work against the Pirates in the regular season, but he was a dazzler in, what is it, Game 4 of that playoff. And he has been pitching extremely well with not too much to show for it. Not a lot of offensive support for Michael Walker. He's got a .255 ERA. He's striking well over a batter per inning. He's still pitching very well.
Defense behind him. Peter Borges can fly. He's in center. Alan Craig in right. Matt Holliday in left. Matt Carpenter, Johnny Peralta on the left side of the infield. Mark Ellis, Matt Adams on the right side. And Gold Glover Yadier Molina behind the plate for Michael Walker. Jose Tabata takes a strike. Michael Walker. The Pirates had won the day before a Sunday game, October the 6th, to take a 2-1 lead in the best-of-5 National League Division Series. That game that Liriano started. The Pirates won that game late, thanks in large part to Pedro Alvarez RBI single and a Russell Martin RBI base hit. And so there was a lot of anticipation that the Pirates could take the series in Game 4, but when Michael Walker shut them down, he no-hit the Pirates through 7 1/3 innings, had a 2-0 lead. Pedro Alvarez homered to break up the no-hit bid and shutout bid to make it 2-1, and that would stand. A final of 2-1. Michael Walker, 7 1/3 innings. A couple of walks. He struck out 9. And right off of Walker, a bullet by Tabata.
They'll be out to take a look. That was a pretty direct hit, and it bounces straight back.
Tabata rifles one right off of the pitcher, Michael Walker. Mike Matheny.
If it doesn't hurt now, it'll hurt a lot tomorrow. right off the side of the shin. Maybe got part of the calf muscle. Pretty good shot, and they'll let him throw a couple pitches. These kind of situations, sometimes a couple pitches are adrenaline driven. You really don't know if you're really hurting, but seems to be all right. And he convinces Mike Matheny and the trainer. On we go. Michael Walker, 6'6", 210 pounds, out of Iowa City, Iowa, 22 years old. First rounder 4 years ago, 19th player taken overall, and he has been everything that the Cardinals thought he was and hope to have him be.
Out of Texas A&M, 19th choice overall just 2 years ago. Now Neil Walker, and look out! Almost picked him off. In fact, had the throw been on the bag, Tabata probably is out. Looked as though, from our vantage point, that Adams had to reach up a bit to try and apply the tag then. Yep. Boy, if that's on the bag, he's out.
Don't want that. Some early action.
Well, good to get the no-hitter out of the way, though, isn't it? The no-hitter.
That is. We're on the other side of that. Well, we've got to avert the shutout and win the ball game.
A dazzling performance, though, here at PNC Park by Michael Wacha on Monday, the 7th of October. This ball into the left center field gap. But Tabata will head to third.
Well, you get the good ones early. Wacha, even though he's just 22 years old, is one of the good ones. So Pirates early action. The hot bat of Neil Walker continues, and we got another hot bat coming up as Neil kind of bites it off and kind of inside outs that ball. Kind of in the middle, but pushes it out to left center field, and here we go.
There's your Tabata knows right away he's going to be at third at least.
Everything right in front of him. Neil Walker has been hot, and he continues.
Andrew McCutchen, the big swing and a miss. McCutchen tied for 9th in the league in hitting with Matt Adams. He's second in the National League in on-base percentage. First 8 games this month, he's batting .424 with 6 ribbies in his last 7 games. And remember, when McCutchen came to the plate in that game that Wacha pitched, eventually Matheny went to the bullpen. Trevor Rosenthal came on to preserve a 2-1 lead. He got the first 2 outs. Neil Walker walked in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs, and Andrew McCutchen popped up, just missed a ball. McCutchen talked about that later, how close he came to barreling that one up. How's this one off his foot?
We're even now. Their guy takes one off the leg, and so does our guy. The shin protector not covering the top of the foot.
Infield looks for 2. Wow, struck him out looking.
Turned the ball over. It looked like maybe a little tail in that sinking fastball. Maybe not the fastball. Maybe a little changeup that he turned over. You see a little tail on that?
Boy, you see
they get a call.
Yeah, this kind of bothered some people last year. Wacha just trying to establish himself as a big league pitcher, and here's the MVP of the National League. Steve, all things being equal, there was a time when a veteran...
You didn't get that call.
Yeah, the veteran got the call.
Yeah.
This time the pitcher, Wacha, gets that call.
And it might have been helped by a little bit by Molina. He's a veteran. That ball was kind of tailing in, so he brings it in, and the glove kind of flows along with it to follow the trail of the baseball. And sometimes that can buy you a call. Last year, you talked to the Cardinal people. Michael Walker was primarily a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball and changeup, but he has worked on a curveball, a little bit of a cutter, and sometimes you wonder if you get away from a strong pitch by adding a lot, but you've got a lot to look for from Walker these days. My belief is the more, if you have a good live arm, the more different types of pitches you can show somebody, the better off you're going to be. Especially if you have good control, and he has good control. 7 starts, and he's walked 13 batters. That's above average control.
No doubt he recalls the home run Alvarez hit off of him in that NLDS Game 4.
Now, early on, if you're trying to get to the good guys early, do you give them a green light here?
Sure. Lays off a breaking ball. That loads them up. He was pitching very carefully to Alvarez there. And it brings up Starling Marte.
Well, our guy Liriano got out of a little mini jam in the top of the first, and now Walker is going to try to do the same thing. He's a little deeper.
Starling Marte has done good work against the Cardinals here at PNC Park. Checks and takes, ball 1. Last 8 games, Marte hitting at a .382 clip. 10 career games played against the Cardinals here at PNC Park, as he's hit safely in all 10. This ball line foul.
Well, you could really have some fun now if you catch a gap or a corner, because Pedro Alvarez is just sneaking off first base, and he can go as far as Adams is away. So you get a double, get a look at that speed we've been talking about for Pedro. So he can go as far as Adams goes.
Well, look at Adams playing on the grass. How about that? Concerned about a possible push bunt. Adams.
Yeah, this is kind of shallow.
Yeah. Carpenter was up there with before 2 strikes, but Adams stays there. Adams still up. And Wacha strikes out Marte.
And that's what Michael Wacha does. 42 innings coming in, 50 strikeouts. He's added to that. And that's in the same neighbor. That's the same type of approach he took with Andrew McCutchen, down and in. This time he got the swing and the miss. He got the call on Andrew. And that's going away from that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. A little movement, turned it over.
Well, the curveball, they're hitting just $125 off the curveball. He throws 10% of the time. The changeup, they're hitting 143. The fastball, opposing batters hitting 265 off of that. Fastball misses to Ike Davis. Ike Davis, first 8 games this month, is hitting 320. So far, Ike Davis has liked the bases loaded. Once against the Reds. With the Mets, he hit a walk-off granny, and one of his first Pirate games against the Reds, he hit a granny.
Now, that being said, only 2 other ribbies.
Yeah. Right. So he's in a good place here. Bases loaded.
Yes. It's a familiar neighborhood.
And now Wacha in a good place. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is April 21st. Mike Leake served it up. Short time after Ike Davis became a Bucko.
He's talking about him making a lot of friends that night. Grand Slams will do that.
Wacha out in front, 1-2. See a little flinch looked like from the home plate umpire. 96. Wacha dialed it up. 2-2.
Close.
Now Yadier Molina going to talk things over here with Michael Wacha. I would think that whatever Molina says, okay, that's what you want. That's what we'll throw here.
You got it, number 4. I'm with you. Matheny can relate to that. We were just talking in the top half of the inning about Tony Sanchez and Liriano. Even more pronounced here with Molina and the young pitcher going the other way, the opposite kind of conversation.
2-2. Hit the other way. Holiday is over. It is over his head. Oh, and it bounces out of play. Pirates will settle for a 2-run opposite field double by Ike Davis.
Boy, is that a welcome sight. That ball just kept running away from Holiday, and it looked like the opportunity was going to get away from the Pirates. Bases loaded, 1 out, but they cash it in. Nothing like 2-out offense, and Ike does a good job just pushing that ball down into the corner. I don't know if Pedro could have scored, but it would have been interesting. It would have been decision time for Nick Leyva as the Cardinals give up 2 runs, but they get the bounce.
I don't know whether that was a changeup from Wacha, but Molina asked for something and maybe not where exactly he wanted it.
You wonder because you got Ike Davis left hand here, like that, like in the neighborhood where he struck out Marte and McCutchen. The ball was in that neighborhood. It was in that area, down and away.
Pirates strike first. 0-2 the count. Here's the grip.
That's a changeup. That's either most of the hand or 3 fingers, and that was down in that area where he struck out the other 2 batters. So they went to the well, perhaps once too often.
97. 1-2. Tony Sanchez has walked once this season, struck out 16 times, batting .273. 2-2, and at least making Wacha work, already leading 2-0. This inning successful regardless of what Sanchez does, but he'd like to keep it going. Cardinals get a break with that ball going out of play. Ground rule double. And Wacha strikes out Tony Sanchez. But the Pirates, Ike Davis, 2-run double, 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Early 2-0 lead for the Pirates against the Cardinals in Game 1 of this 3-game series. Game 2 tomorrow night. And don't forget Sunday night baseball here. Pirates on national TV Sunday night. Mike Davis gives the Pirates this 2-0 first inning lead. Yadier Molina takes strike one. Well, for his last 11, so he was out here early. Extra work.
Right now, the Cardinals are not wanting to play a lot of catch-up baseball. It's tough enough anytime, but when you're scuffling as a team, well, they did score 7, I think, Wednesday in a win.
Two and one. Falls behind 3 balls and a strike. Remember Liriano, the last time he faced these Cardinals was a Saturday afternoon at Busch Stadium, and he lasted just 2 innings. 2 batters into the 3rd inning, he was forced to leave. Lightheadedness, nosebleed. That was the big pickup by Stomy Pimentel, who went 3 innings in relief of Liriano. The Pirates won that game 6-1. Beating Tyler Lyons. What? 3-2, foul ball. Tonight's Barrel Automotive League leaders, National League leaders in average since 2012. McCutchen and Molina, 1-2 in the National League since 2012.
That's an impressive list that they're on the top of. Tyler Lyons, assume he's still starting with Joe Kelly on the disabled list. Still quite an impressive rotation that these Cardinals have. They have a great team ERA, I think second only to Atlanta.
Tomorrow it'll be Lance Lynn and then Shelby Miller on Sunday night. Pirates miss Adam Wainwright. Too bad. 6-3 Molina. The first out is Liriano, falling behind the veteran catcher, came back to get him. That impressive rotation, and the leader of that rotation next to Lance Lynn, who's on your far right, Adam Wainwright, number 50.
Second in. All right.
Shelby Miller next to Wainwright.
Wainwright is, he's got to be considered the stud pitcher in the National League.
Man, what a season he's putting together. Adam Wainwright.
And really, you take a look at his career.
Yeah, typical Wainwright stuff.
Typical, and just the only interruption was an arm surgery. 2011.
Leads the league, 6 wins, 2.02 ERA, most innings pitched. $2-0 on Alan Craig, who Matheny actually sat him down for a couple days just to get away from everything. He has been struggling, hitting .202. And this is the guy, the poster child for RISP, runners in scoring position. Last year, Alan Craig hit .454. That was the 3rd highest, at least since 1974, all time. Runners in scoring position, but Matheny sat him down that couple games in Atlanta, or in against the Braves. Swing and a miss. 2-2. They were in Chicago to start this trip. They lost the first 2 games at Wrigley, won the finale, then they went down to Atlanta, took 2 of 3 from the Braves, led by Adam Wainwright on Wednesday. Liriano
downstairs. That's his office. He works best.
Steve, you talked about the better ones. You got to get to them early. You said that about Waka. Well, you probably say the same about Liriano, right?
Absolutely. He's in that category. He's proved himself to be a quality major league pitcher. And you know what? One thing about this Cardinal lineup, too, they are struggling, Greg, but you take a look at the lineups. The lineup batters 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is wonderful to look at as an opposing pitcher because, yeah, you got guys up there that can hit and are hitting, but when you get a jam, you've got opportunities to get out of it. And I'm talking about right now. I mean, these guys have
could change any day.
Oh, yeah. Craig has a better
series,
yeah, he has a better pedigree. Borges is starting to hit the ball a little bit better, but I'll tell you, you lick your chops when you look at that, because you get through the first 5. You're right now, the way they're scuffling down in that batting order with those averages, it's a feel-good look for a starting pitcher against the Cardinals right now.
Borges had a good series in Atlanta.
Francisco Liriano, one of the reasons he's one of those good ones you talked about, he can pull the string, not go way down in separation, but not show it to you, not give it away, not telegraph it. And that's exactly what he just did to Borges on that last pitch. Not drastic separation of speed, just enough to get you started early.
Now a fastball at 95.
Yes.
2-2.
So if you separate 95 down to 85, that's plenty.
Bounces it to the shortstop. And Borges is retired. The Cardinals go down in order right after the Bucks got Liriano 2. Puts up a 0. Going to the bottom of the second. Buccos and Cardinals. First pitch strike on a guy the Pirates would like to get going, Jordy Mercer. 161. Liriano on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Pirates shortstop.
And you know all that is eating away at Jordy Mercer too. He wants to prove to everybody he's not only capable with the glove, but he can hold his own with the bat. Until you do it for an extended period of time, just to convince yourself by having success, it helps so much more than just thinking you're capable of it. When you start doing it, then that's the real deal.
You saw Clint Barmas there on the bench in full support of Jordy Mercer. Kind of handing the baton to him, become the shortstop, but Mercer's gotten off to a slow start, and Clint Hurdle's talked about this too, Steve, that when you're kind of handed a job, and all of a sudden, before he kind of, on occasion, he'd get a start now and again, and kind of a comfortable situation.
Yeah, we're taking a look.
Not much expected of it. Well, now you're the starter, and all of a sudden you get off a little bit of a slow start, you start to press.
Yep, there's responsibility involved.
Ground ball, base hit. Jordy Mercer leads off with a single. We'll see if Liriano can't bunt him to second. And let's go downstairs to Dan Potash.
Well, you guys were talking about it earlier. The last time we saw Michael Wacha in this building, of course, he no-hit the Pirates into the 8th of the NLDS. But, the fans really showed up in that series. It was the blackout and then this great sign, the Waka 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 Fozzie Bear sign. Now, look, I know Pirate fans have always been creative, but that's pretty cool for the playoffs. And actually over 40,000 fans here that day, and that is an all-time record for the Pirates as we have an out at home plate. Greg, would you take it away?
Wow, a heck of a play there. Molina had to go around Liriano, who pops up the bunt.
Drop the end of the bat. That's what happens. And he runs through Liriano and does the juggling act and holds on.
Stuck with it after the bobble.
That's pretty creative. Wow. I guess third bobble's the trick.
Strike is called. Well, Dan was right about those incredible crowds here.
It was amazing. It was a wonderful time.
Just when you thought they couldn't fit any more into this place. You know, that wild card game, the first time we had seen 40,000. It was 40,487, that wild card game against the Reds. Then they topped it, game 3 of the NLDS, by 2, 40,489. And as Dan was saying, the next night they beat that, 40,493. As Michael Wacha beat Charlie Morton. Now ball right side. Mark Ellis, the veteran, gets one, and they do not turn 2. Throw from Peralta in the dirt.
Okay, we'll take the extra out. So, theory, you don't want to give a team 4 outs. Give them their allotted 3. Look at the bats. Pirates going to get a little more time.
Peralta's throw is on the mark. He probably gets Tabata. Johnny Peralta, 5 errors this season. Matt Carpenter with 6. The strike is called on Neil Walker. Cardinals team committing 22 errors. It's about middle of the pack. Pirates 26 miscues. The Reds have committed only a dozen by comparison, the fewest in the National League. Not an error here. But, you know, that's all counted in the team stats. They look at those kind of things. Double plays that aren't turned. And now more pitches for Wacha that he has to throw.
And the door is open. You can hit for as long as you want now.
Unfortunately, another unsuccessful sacrifice bunt try by the Pirates. And Walker, fly ball to center. Way out. And Walker just missed that one. Still 2-0.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's box.
Root for the Pirates. We're Jolly the Roger. All right.
Could be.
That works. Here's Mark Ellis, veteran second baseman, signed as a free agent this winter. Will turn 37 years old next month. Started the year on the disabled list. Ellis, a career .571 average against Liriano, 8 out of 14. A lot of years with Oakland, playing for the Athletics. In the previous 2 years with the Dodgers. Two and one. That evens the count.
Francisco having better success at the end of at bats than the beginning. Falls behind here, 2-0, but comes back in. He's fallen behind a few, but doing okay, putting up zeros.
Pitcher Waka on deck.
And you don't want to give Walker a chance to bunt Ellis over, because Walker is 0 for 12 with 9 strikeouts. So get to him with 1 out. Don't
And
give
2
him that
bunts.
opportunity. Yeah.
So he's gotten some bunts down a couple times. Jammed him. Sanchez going to run out of room. Stays 3-2 on Mark Ellis. Hit .270 last year. Right around his career batting average. Struck him out looking.
And he knew it. Pulled him away from the fastball.
Day Automotive, this day in Pirates history. On this date in 1950, the Pirates beat the Dodgers 10-5. Big day from Ralph Kiner. 3-run homer in the 3rd, grand slam in the 8th, 7 ribbies. Grand slam was Kiner's 2nd in 3 games, 8th in his career. So he had 7 home runs. That was just the 19th game of the season for the Pirates on May 9th, 1950. Ralph Branca served up the first homer, and Carl Erskine served up the grand slam to Kiner at Forbes Field that day.
Branca's name comes up once again with a home run attached to it. Ralph probably had a pretty good RBI total at that point too.
Yeah.
They didn't start as early as we do now. Well, Francisco, you're in a pretty good place against Mr. Walker right now. See if we can finish him off.
Now on the appeal. Two balls, 2 strikes against his mound opponent. Strikes him out looking. We were just talking about Ralph Kiner, and on this day in Pirates history, of course, Ralph Kiner, one of baseball's most beloved figures, Hall of Famer, slugger with the Pirates, distinguished baseball announcer, known among the Hollywood elite. Celebrate his life and career with interviews from his teammates, fellow broadcasters, and Kiner himself on a special Inside Pirates Baseball Wednesday after postgame on Root Sports. Heck of a show that Rob King helped put together.
One of the many that Rob does. I mean, he does
we
those
saw him
features
working down in Florida on that one in particular.
Absolutely.
He puts a ton of effort into it. Great show that is.
A string of hits put together by Rob King. Great work.
Carpenter could not hold his swing, and he's in the hole 0-2. He started the game with a double, a hustling double into left center. He does not agree with Jim Wolf that he went around there. It's 0-2. Liriano has struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced. And almost got him. He did get him. Oh, Carpenter gets no breaks from the home plate umpire Jim Wolf or the crew chief, the third base umpire Brian Gorman, as Liriano strikes out the side. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Now spend Mother's Day here at PNC Park as Andrew McCutcheon shows moms what they will get. A reusable tote bag courtesy of the MLB Network on Sunday night, 8:05. Pirates on national TV. Treat your mom this Mother's Day. Pirates playing Sunday night baseball. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Again, all moms get a reusable tote bag courtesy of the MLB Network.
I'm sure you've already purchased your gift for Mom.
You're sure?
Well, I hope so. Unless you're just waiting for just the perfect thing.
I am.
There you go.
I got the card.
Okay, we're even. I ordered flowers.
Oh, there you go. All right. 1-2 strikes on Andrew McCutcheon. He struck out looking in the first.
Wasn't happy about it. Borderline pitch that went Walker's way.
And up the middle. McCutcheon whacks a single to center field.
All of a sudden, instant summer. 85-degree days. All of a sudden, we went right by winter to summer. It's just ball going. Walker doesn't want to get hit on the leg again. That shot of Lyria. People have no idea how good that feels when you go in there after pitching an inning. They put that cold towel. Sometimes got that ammonia water on it. And, you will confess to anything if you get more of that.
Pickoff try. Waka almost had Tabata in the first inning, but his throw was a bit high to Matt Adams. And Tabata able to score on the Ike Davis double.
Just in case you're wondering, Walker has given up 3 home runs in his first 7 starts prior to tonight. Good to see Andrew on the bases, because that first at bat, there could be nothing at all he liked about that. First of all, he doesn't get a chance to do anything to help Walker and Tabata, and then they call him out on what could have been a ball. So nothing to be happy about. But here he is on the base pass.
Breaking ball for a strike. And the overshift on Alvarez. We talked about that home run that Alvarez hit off of Waka to end the no-hit bid. And what a postseason for Pedro Alvarez, his first postseason ever. He in fact established a major league record. He had at least 1 RBI in each of his first 6 career postseason games. 2-1. Two and two. Josh Harrison antsy.
Getting the bat in his hands.
Yeah. That's a double play ball right into the shift. The third baseman Carpenter playing over toward the second base area. Of course, he played second base last year. Look at our lows never stop improving stat. And after a down April, Starling Marte has picked things up. First 8 games in May, batting average up 150 points, OPS almost doubled, and he is striking out far less often.
Hooray, hooray, the month of May. Stolen.
Fly ball hit well toward right center, and Burgess has lost it. Now he sees it and he makes the catch. Peter Burgess lost the ball and found it just in time, leaping at the wall to rob Marte of extra bases.
What a strange play. Loses it and then stays with it. And that ball carried a long way. That's a great recovery.
A great catch. Marte looked like he was twisting his body a little bit, where he strained something on the swing, but let's watch. First, Borges loses it. Where is it? Now he picks it up. Great catch.
Yeah. Not only a physical good catch, but not quitting on it. You know, that universal sign when the arms go up in the air, you don't have it. Some guys will quit on it and take cover, but he kept fighting it. He found it. And then goes up and really makes a fine play. Fine play.
And right away, a base hit with just one man on the right side of the infield. The shift on Peralta. He extends his hitting streak to 7 straight games. There's nobody at second. He starts this 4th inning off with a base hit to right.
Well, it's a game of percentages. They're over there shifting for a reason. High percentage of the time he hits it in that direction. That time he didn't.
The second hit for the Cardinals. Matt Holliday to the plate. He walked in the first. Nothing on Matt Holliday. Matt Holliday hit the 2-run homer in the 6th inning of Game 4 of the NLDS, that game that Waka pitched. Broke a 0-0 tie. Charlie Morton pitched such good baseball that afternoon, but he was on the wrong end of the Waka start.
Sometimes you just basically pitch on the wrong day.
He pitches Sunday night. The next day he will pitch against Shelby Miller.
Yeah, coming off that real fine outing Tuesday night. And Cole followed it up Wednesday.
And back-to-back starts of 8 innings. Morton and Cole. First time since when?
2007?
Sheesh.
Does that tell you how the game has changed?
Pirates hadn't had starters go 8 innings or more in back-to-back starts since 2007. Before this past Tuesday and Wednesday.
7 years ago, that's all.
And that might sneak in. First and second.
And I have that image, maybe not just a bouncing ball, but going that way for Holliday a good bit of the time in the playoffs, especially against Mark Melanson, pushing the ball that way, taking that cutter and just going out there with it. Here's a pitch way up. It even appeared to be further outside, but he just pushes it that way.
Now it's first and second with nobody out in this 4th inning, and it brings up Matt Adams, who bounced into a 4-3 double play in the 1st inning. Gave you those numbers in his first at bat. He has been struggling against lefties, but Liriano, for some reason early on, has not dominated by any stretch left-handed batters through his first 7 starts.
But you almost got to think of a pedigree or a resume for a quality left-hander like Liriano against lefties in the bigger picture.
You'd think that would settle down those numbers, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Here's a look. And Ray Searage. 0-2 on Matt Adams. He takes it's 1-2. Matt Adams, of course, from Phillipsburg. We know we've got a lot of folks here from Central PA, and also those watching, including Jim Soltis. His son Ryan asked us to pass along a happy birthday wish to a big Pirate fan. The Soltis family.
We get you introduced to our we have a moment segment, which will be going on. We got a bunch of them to cover, and we do have some acknowledgments to make, but we got to get out of this mess first.
2-2 now.
Certainly a strikeout candidate. Let's hope Francisco can put him away.
He does. Got him looking.
Number 5. And a big one it is.
3 of them caught looking.
here's how you start getting yourself out of a jam. Not the best breaking ball upstairs, but Adams doesn't swing and he gets rung up. You'd like to have that in a better spot, but if you fool somebody enough on a given pitch, it doesn't have to be a perfecta. If they're looking for something else and guessing, anticipating, you cross them up, sometimes you're just not able to pull the trigger.
Ball one on Molina. Molina used to be a big-time double play candidate. By the end of the year, he'd be being double up 20 plus. But early on, not as often, though he has been striking out more often than we're used to seeing. He's also among the league leaders by the end of the season almost every year as one of the toughest to fan.
Oh, here comes the rain. All
wow,
of a sudden.
Huh?
And
my goodness.
Not a drizzle.
It's going from home plate out towards center field, so the folks around home plate got it first.
We expected a shower to be moving through at some point, but we had the good news, or hopefully the good news, that if it comes and it's here, that it'll move through quickly and we'll be okay. But that's sudden rain.
To right, Tabata is right there.
Hoping to cool things down here in the top of the fourth.
Just another thing, Steve, as a pitcher, you got to just completely focus on the task at hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to fight that urge. Okay, I'm off the hook now. I can relax. It looks like they're either going to maybe call time or something, and until they do, you got to keep your concentration and just make up your mind. Okay, I'm going to try to make my pitches until they say timeout. We're going to shut this down for a while, if that happens. But you can't do it until you can't fall in that trap of saying, well, okay, this is not going to mean anything because we're not going to play.
But also to keep your focus. I mean, right in the middle of it at bat, all of a sudden a quick downpour, you can't be thinking about that.
No, you can't. You can't.
There's the crew chief, Brian Gorman.
He's got a ground crew over in their section right in the outfield part of the Pirate dugout, ready to go if needed.
It's in the air toward McCutchen, hit pretty well toward the wall, and gone! A 3-run homer for Alan Craig on an 0-1 pitch, and the Cardinals take the lead. Craig's fourth. It's 3-2.
Oh, well, it certainly brings up your thought about keeping your concentration, and I don't think that Francisco Liriano would blame that on the fact that all of a sudden it started raining, but talked about the ball carrying tonight, and it left the bat, and it looked like it had a lot of carry downstairs, and he gets it a lot of lift, and nothing cheap about a home run in that direction.
So Alan Craig hits his fourth. This ball hit well towards center field, and this has a chance. This is going to be off the wall, hit by Borges. Borges, of course, flies. He's headed to third base, and he is there with a triple.
So Liriano comes within 1 out of getting out of a early jam in the fourth, but then Craig and now Borges just get into 2 pitches. Now we want to take a little time out here, raining or not.
Borges' second triple of the season, and Ray Searage is out. Wow. A ball over the wall, a ball off the wall, back to back. Manny Lopez, the head of the grounds crew.
It can happen that sudden. I'm not talking about the rain either. Manny Lopez, the head man of the ground crew, out to talk with Brian Gorman.
They're not going to take any chances with Ellis. They will walk him intentionally and go after Michael Wacha.
Perhaps the good news is with that wind blowing, weather usually comes from in back of us, blowing through. Maybe it'll blow through quickly and you won't lose any time.
Alan Craig hitting a home run that just does clear the center field wall. McCutchen back, just clipped it. You see the back padded fence. Really swirling and windy.
That's what you call a cell coming through.
That's a stiff wind now. And there's a foul ball by inches from Michael Wacha.
And Brian Gorman said, we're going to shut it down.
You can take a look at those flags out in left field. It is a stiff wind. We showed early in the ball game before this front came in just a light breeze, but now it is a stiff wind. Grounds crew out in a hurry. So look at that.
It starts. There's something moving through here very quickly.
Another rain delay here. Lariano goes back to the clubhouse. He gave up leadoff singles from Johnny Peralta and Matt Holliday here in the top of the fourth inning. Basically, Peralta right through the empty side of the infield, and then Holliday snuck a ground ball on the right. Then he struck out Adams. He got Molina to fly out to Tabata. But Craig homered over the center field wall. Borges tripled off the right center field fence. And after the intentional walk to Ellis, the pitcher Michael Wacha lined a ball just foul down the right field side. And so the grounds crew working through that wind to try and get that target. That's not an easy thing to do.
Right,
it is. You saw the flags, a stiff wind, and that's just keeping that tarp flapping around. Makes it heavier, tougher. Of course, now it's stopped raining.
Almost stopped. Yep.
You knew that was going to happen.
Well, it always has.
Yep. While we wait this one out, we're going to bring you another edition of Inside Pirates Baseball. So keep it right here, and we'll keep you posted. continuing the fourth inning. When we left you, Francisco Liriano had given up a 3-run homer to Alan Craig to give the Cardinals a 3-2 lead. Peter Borges then tripled. They intentionally walked Mark Ellis to face the pitcher Michael Wacha. Along with Steve Blass and Dan Potash, Greg Brown here with you at PNC Park after what will turn out to be a pretty brief rain delay.
And Wacha just missed extra bases down the right field line.
Runner from first will go, and they'll pay no attention to Mark Ellis. It should be defensive indifference.
Well, you're where you want to be, Francisco, against an opposing pitcher that has not made much contact this year.
Ground ball, contact made, but a ground ball, and on to first to retire the side. But Alan Craig's home run is 4th of the year. It's the Cardinals the lead. Well, if you just joined us and missed the action in the first inning, a threat in the first for the Cardinals. Runners at first and third. Matt Adams hits into a 4-3 double play. Bases loaded then in the bottom of the first with 2 outs. Ike Davis hits a double. Unfortunately, it bounces out of play, so the Pirates settle for just the 2 runs. But they're leading 2-0 until the 4th. When Alan Craig came to the plate against Francisco Liriano with 2 outs. It's his 4th home run of the season, just clearing the center field fence. And the Cardinals take a 3-2 lead. Alan Craig, who was benched recently by Mike Matheny, back in the lineup and produces the 3-run homer. So Francisco Liriano gives up his 5th. And Mike Matheny's Redbirds continuing this road trip. Started in Chicago and then on to Atlanta. Now here in Pittsburgh, the first of 3 against the Pirates. Michael Wacha has the lead. Here's Ike Davis.
He has done the damage so far as the Pirates gave up that lead they took in the bottom of the first inning.
A couple of strikes now on Ike Davis. Hit that double the other way from Michael Wacha. His 11th and 12th RBIs of the season. And in the dirt, Davis now in 9 games this month with 9 hits and 26 at bats. And he's 6 for his last 8, covering his last 3 ball games. Wacha threw a lot of pitches in the first inning. Now 2-2. He gave up a leadoff hit to Jordy Mercer in the second, but Francisco Liriano popped a bunt try up in the air. Tabata grounded out. Walker flied out. And a strikeout of Ike Davis. That's the fourth for Waka. We want to see how you root for your Pittsburgh Pirates. Our AT&T fan photo of the day comes your way each and every game. So show us unique ways that you root for the Pirates. Some of the fun places you watch the games. Maybe some of your superstitions. How you show your Pirate pride. Just submit a picture via Twitter. Use the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. And we'll show them during our broadcast. Hashtag BucksFanPhoto. One ball, one strike on Tony Sanchez. Struck out in the first.
So for the first time, the Pirates don't get their leadoff man on.
Takes 3-1. Just one walk so far for Tony Sanchez in his games played at the big league level. He started the year with the Pirates with the injury to Chris Stewart, Russell Martin's backup. Then when Martin got hurt, Sanchez back up. Three and two. Ground ball rolled to the shortstop Peralta. Strikeout and a ground out. So Waka has set down the last four Pirates after McCutcheon singled to start the third. He got Alvarez to hit into that shift, the 5-6-3 double play. And then Peter Borges made a great play on a Starling Marte fly ball that kept carrying her. Initially Borges lost it. Recovered. Leaping at the wall to rob Marte of extra bases, and now Waka looking for his first 1-2-3 inning.
And as we were talking about earlier, is that the beginning of a good pitcher settling in after kind of searching around and finding what he likes to throw early in the game.
After a 25-minute rain delay, didn't take Liriano long to retire Waka. Mercer pops this ball up and playable for Adams. Pirates go down 1-2-3. Through 4 innings, Redbirds up by 1.
Tony Sanchez. And speaking of catchers, there's been a Russell Martin sighting, not just in the clubhouse, on the field. Tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update tells us that the catcher who has a strained hamstring was on the field stretching and running and throwing this afternoon. Unfortunately, when we spoke to him this afternoon, he was not able to give us a complete update, but you guys know as well as I do, it's all about the morning after. So I guess we'll have a better idea of where he stands come tomorrow afternoon, and we'll pass that along as well. Nasty hamstrings, guys.
Well, and we'll give you reports on our morning after, too. Hamstrings are tricky. You don't want to rush back because it can be an ongoing thing if you don't completely cure it. You can start up again, then you're talking about another block of time. You got to almost err on the side of too much time. That's just the way hamstrings are.
Kind of like the oblique situation with Jason Grilli.
Rib cage areas.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike on Matt Carpenter. Jason Grilli still not close to returning. He started to throw a little bit. What they've got there, Steve?
Well, it looks good. It's better than we have up here in the booth.
Oh, look at this. Stormy Pimentel there passing it on. One ball, 2 strikes. Rounded right to Walker. Carpenter, who doubled to start the game, is retired 4-3 on the putout to Pirates second baseman Neil Walker. Brings up Johnny Peralta, who has flied out. Singled and scored. 1 away in the 5th, and the Cardinals leading 3-2. One on Peralta with 1 out in the 5th. And a ball and a strike on Johnny Peralta. I want to pass along thoughts and prayers to my Uncle Jim Kelly in the Greensburg area. Aunt Pat Kelly passed away early this morning, and thoughts and prayers with Uncle Jim and all my cousins.
Indeed.
She was a great lady. 2-1 on Peralta. And 2-2 on the shortstop. Mariano, see the 82 pitch mark. Still in search of his first win. And this is his 8th start. Goes to 3-2.
Our thoughts go along to our friend Kent Jacoby, who's on the DL for at least tonight. Hope that that's as long as it lasts.
Get you back on the active roster, Teague.
Yep, thinking about you.
And Mariano upset with himself as he loses Peralta. Matt Holliday has walked and singled.
And we're talking about some updates. Sally O'Leary's under the weather. So, Sally, we are thinking about you. Hope you're going to get us some runs here and come back and win this ball game. And if you do, it's going to go on your side of the ledger. So, think about Sally.
Sally will get the W.
Yep. One of the best. He is a champion.
Ball 1 on Holliday. He walked in the first. His base hit was through the right side of the infield. Walker was shifted over almost behind second. And if that ball were hit to Walker now, it would be a double play. 2-0.
So many times now against right-hand batters, Greg, we see second basemen that are shaded up almost in back of second base. It's a very common occurrence now because of what they saw. They're going to have him move a ways toward first base, more toward that traditional position.
3-0 now on Matt Holliday. Liriano falls behind Cardinal left fielder.
Do I have it right? 87 pitches?
Yep.
They're in their 5th inning.
And he walks him on 4 pitches. Back-to-back walks. Here comes Ray Searage again.
The phone is ringing, and they're going to have somebody warming up in the bullpen.
Matt Adams coming to the plate. Liriano walked Holliday with 2 outs in the first inning, or I'm sorry, 1 out in the first inning, and he intentionally walked Mark Ellis last inning. Here, after getting Carpenter on a ground ball, allowed back-to-back free passes, and it's Yanmar Gomez loosening up. Liriano had such a great 2013 season, the comeback player of the year, and he didn't make his first Pirate start until May the 11th last year. Ended up with 16 wins. He's pitched okay, but really set a high bar for himself last year.
Yeah, and you know, the delay was so short, I wouldn't anticipate any real issues, other than, you know, it begs the question, lack of concentration. You know, you got disrupted and you had to sit down for a while.
Yeah, the damage came before the delay. The
Yes.
home run by Craig, the Borges triple. One ball, 1 strike now on Adams.
Certainly a ground ball here would help to change that conversation. But that many pitches, 90 pitches, and still working with just 1 out in the 5th inning.
Hit toward McCutchen. That's the 2nd out, and it sets up a big time moment here in this game. It's the 5th inning. The Pirates are down by just 1. Michael Wacha, a tough pitcher. They got a strong bullpen, and you've got Yadier Molina coming to the plate. Molina had a chance last inning with 2 on and 1 out. Was very upset with himself. Flied out to Tabata in right. Bounced out his first time.
And you look at what possibly could be coming up, because Liriano is working with a lot of pitches. He is scheduled to lead off the bottom of the 5th. You've got a very well rested bullpen. We'll see how this plays out, but you're right. This is the urgency right now, and a great block by Tony.
Tony Sanchez giving up the body there.
Just slide the whole body over and hope you get whatever you can in front of the baseball and let it bounce in front of you.
Missed with a fastball. Now he falls behind Molina, 2-0.
Mr. Craig in the on deck, sir.
Historically, Liriano has done good work against Molina.
But this is a tough spot, falling behind him 2-0. He's fallen behind a lot of batters early in the count, pitching uphill.
And a strike. Two and 1. Don't want to go 3-1, of course. He'll get a strike.
He's working hard now because, and I'm not predicting the future. This could be his last inning, and delivers this 2nd strike right on the bottom of the strike zone.
2-2, 2 outs. Bouncing ball to the shortstop. Mercer will throw to first, and a big time piece of work there from Liriano. 3-2 St. Louis.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates down by 1 here. Game 1 of the 3-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals at PNC Park. And here is Brent Morel. Saw him in spring training. Picked up over the winter by the Pirates. Former White Sox infielder. Ray Searage with Francisco Liriano. Morel was hitting only .215 in 25 games at Indianapolis. Started to swing the bat better, and then his grandmother passed away, so he was out for about 3 games. When he returned, slow to get rolling again. So Brent Morel was claimed off waivers by the Pirates from the Blue Jays in February. His career mainly with the White Sox, and this season hitting .215 at AAA Indianapolis. As we said earlier, the Pirates don't need a 5th starter for a few games, so an extra bat at least for the weekend. And there's a strikeout of Brent Morel. Michael Wacha strikes out his 5th.
Gets the call on that pitch, borderline pitch.
Top of it now, 1 for 2. Tony Sanchez, Russell Martin talking with Francisco Liriano.
There's a bond between pitchers and catchers. Always been that way. The rest of the guys they're position players. Even though the catchers regarded, but they're pitchers and catchers, and then there are other guys. That's okay.
We know about your bond with Manny Sanguin, and other catchers that spent some time with either the minors or the major leagues that come to mind.
Absolutely. Jerry May and I came up through the minor leagues together, and then had a relationship, kind of knew how we worked together and what we tried to do. And Jim Pagliarone was catcher for the Pirates. Chris Cannizzaro. I had a great year with Chris Cannizzaro in 1968. He was a Pirate catcher. Smokey Burgess was my first.
Is that right?
Yeah. My first major league start. I told him in the 3rd inning, Smokey, I do have a breaking ball, because we played the Dodgers and they were the running Dodgers, so he wanted fastballs to be able to throw people out. But, Smokey was great. I mean, he was the guy they always said that could get out of bed at Christmas time and get you a pinch hit base hit. Milt May, I always enjoyed working with Milt. I still considered Milt May, one of the most underrated Pirate catchers.
Ball hit well toward left center field. Holiday going to have to play this on the bounce, and actually bounces over the wall. So Jose Tabata just continues to torch Cardinals pitching, especially here at PNC Park. He's 2 for 3.
A lot of carry to left field. Certainly helps.
Tabata lined the ball off of Wacha his first time up, and here Matt Holliday started to cut directly across rather than go back. Don't know if that would have made much of a difference, but it's a double for Tabata, and now Neil Walker. Tabata 2 of the 6 Pirate hits. Walker singled and scored in the first. Then he flied to center his last time up. He just missed crushing a ball in the 2nd inning.
It's a fraction of an inch sometimes of just getting underneath the ball and just getting under it too much.
If he had barreled that one, it would have gone a long way, as Russell Martin continues to chat with Liriano. Toward left, and there's a base hit. Tabata will be waved. Matt Holliday's throw toward the plate. It's going to be off the mark a little bit late, and so Walker takes advantage, and maybe not the smartest play in the world by Holliday.
Well, a couple things in play there. Matt Holliday does not have a great arm, so Nick Leyva is going to send Tabata, and you're exactly right. The throw comes all the way in, and now there's going to be a visit to Walker at the mound, but he goes downstairs.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo of the swing by Neil Walker, going the other way twice tonight.
And a decent read by Tabata, who doesn't hesitate very much, and then the throw all the way in. Molina's out there.
Yeah, Molina's not expecting that. He's not expecting that throw to come all the way to the plate, and so Walker takes advantage where now a base hit can get the Bucks the lead again. Jose Tabata, 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Good to see him smiling.
Yeah, and maybe Francisco Liriano smiling a little bit. He's not only off the hook, he could get himself eligible for a win.
Wouldn't that be funny if he got a W by going 5?
Well, you know, sometimes you got to get him that way. Yep, absolutely.
Looking for the first.
They come in all assorted shapes and sizes, wins and losses.
Hutchin single to center field his last time up. Struck out looking at a pitch that was off the plate in the first inning.
So Michael Walker not squeaky clean tonight. Pirates have 3. They've got 7 hits. They've tied this thing up, looking for more.
On Andrew McCutchen. We did an event today, Steve, at the Dick's Sporting Goods main campus, and Neil Huntington was answering some questions, one about Andrew McCutchen. And he said, you know, Andrew he's not one of those guys that screams in the clubhouse. He leads, you've heard that before, about leads by example, but he's also the kind of guy that if he sees somebody do something wrong, maybe not hustling out a ground ball, he'll just kind of walk by him and say, you know, that's not the way we do things here. As he goes down on a high fastball. That'll bring up Pedro Alvarez.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be volume. Hard to chase the high, hard stuff when it's that hard.
So McCutchen 1 for 3 tonight. Neil Huntington also mentioned that the first guy that Ike Davis meets in the clubhouse, Andrew McCutchen, walks up and says, "Welcome to the Pirates." And he says,
that's huge.
Imagine how big that is for a new player, that the reigning MVP walks up.
Because the first thing you're going to do is acknowledge everybody, but you know who's going to be over in that corner of that clubhouse, and that's Andrew McCutchen. So you know he is either first on the list or not far from it, and then he turns it upside down and comes to you. That's big time stuff.
Alvarez trying to get Walker home. Now with a runner at second base, they have Peralta behind second, and the third baseman Carpenter still over at his position. He can't afford to go over to the other side. That's where Carpenter got the ground ball previously. On the right side of second. And it's 0-2 on Pedro Alvarez.
So basically, you could hit a little easy bouncing ball to the shortstop and get a base hit, or where the shortstop normally would be.
Or hit a ground ball just as he hit in the third inning and get a base hit just to the right of second base. Inside. See Walker's pitch count creeping. A lot of pitches in that first inning for Walker. One ball, 2 strikes, and now he steps off the rubber and Alvarez steps out of the box.
I'm trying to figure out if I feel like he's throwing fewer fastballs and looking to do more quote-unquote pitching with some of the breaking stuff he's been working hard on.
Just tapped that breaking ball off to the right.
Heard from some of the Cardinal people that he was not only trying to work and get more consistent with a curveball, but also a little cutter, that hard slider off the fastball, which obviously get him another couple good pitches. But sometimes you get trapped a little bit like that. His strength is heat. He still has a lot of it. Goes away from it again there.
So here against Alvarez, he threw that first pitch fastball. Breaking ball fouled away. Fastball. Off-speed pitches to get to 2-2 now.
Yep. Got Andrew to chase a high, hard fastball.
Hit hard but foul. And had it been fair, it would have been an out anyway. Adams is almost straddling the foul line.
And that was, I think, 87 or 88 on the gun. So again, going away from the fastball. They go just a little bit quick on it.
Got him with the high fastball. Off-speed pitch was pulled foul, and then he chases. Does Alvarez the high heat? It's tied at 3. Shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. And now back to live action here at PNC Park. And moments ago, the pierogi race in real speed. That is Sauerkraut Saul, who beats out, Oliver Onion again. Last place finish for 0-0. 3-3 game here. On to the 6th inning. And Jeanmar Gomez.
His information so far this season, appearance number 11. 20 innings, 13 strikeouts, 8 walks.
3 scoreless innings on Monday night in that 13-inning ball game against the Giants. 3 scoreless, gave up 3 hits. Alan Craig, home run off Liriano in the 4th. One ball, one strike. Peter Borges on deck, and then Mark Ellis. Liriano, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits. No decision for the Pirate left-hander.
Thank you. Nicely done. Got him to chase that ball down and away, down out of the strike zone.
Bucks host these Cardinals again tomorrow at 7:05, and after the game, Dick's Sporting Goods presents Cimbelli Fireworks. Plus, win great prizes at Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. Fireworks tomorrow night. Compliments of Dick's Sporting Goods following the 7:05 game against these St. Louis Cardinals. And on the mound for the Buccos, it's going to be Edinson Volquez. He'll be opposed by Lance Lynn. And don't forget about Sunday night baseball, nationally televised here. 8:05 first pitch on Mother's Day. Everybody's catching on to yes, yes, yes.
Is that a marriage proposal? I do.
Borges pass it off, 1 ball and 1 strike. Came over from the Angels over the winter. Former 10th round pick of the Angels. Taps this one toward Alvarez. Has to get it to first and get it.
And can't waste much time with Mr. Borges. He's down the line very quickly. Start for John Gomez. Coming into a 3-3 ball game.
Help, my dad is a Cards fan. Help, my girl's a Bucks fan.
Welcome to the ball game. Everybody's happy on whatever happens on a given play. Every play makes somebody happy.
Now Ellis drives one deep to left center field. Marte is back. It's over his head, and that's into the seats. Mark Ellis putting a charge into that pitch.
Looked good going off the bat, and it was good for Mr. Ellis.
Now John Jay is going to pinch hit for Waka. Both starters go 5 innings.
Didn't expect that tonight. Waka, Liriano. Did not expect that. Fortunately, that ball did not have a lot of height because it is just really, really breezing out to left field. The American flag is starched.
Ball 1 on the left-handed hitter. That's as stiff a wind as we've seen in a long time, and Troy battles it.
Batten down the hatches, man.
Jay takes ball 2.
Uh-oh, now, yeah, well, we got the reversal now.
I mean, it's not raining. Why is he doing that? I know there's a reason.
Well, that is an umbrella for the rain, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's
designed for rain.
Is it raining? Troy does that a lot. I think that's a sun umbrella. I see him with that thing when it's bright and sunny, you know? So I think that's just kind of his signature.
He was out there a lot of afternoons before the ball game, just getting some rays.
Yeah.
Then the sun's not out.
Yeah.
So
he's hard to figure. Popped up, but that wind is gusting, and that's going to carry that ball out of play.
That's exactly what did it. That ball's caught comfortably.
Two and two on Mark Ellis. John Jay batting for Waka. He lines this ball to left. Marte is over, and Marte is there. The Jay hit that one on the line. To Marte. Still tied at 3. Park. Ricky coming right at you.
Rick.
Going to the bottom of the 6th inning here at PNC Park. And Starling Marte will lead things off. We're kind of keeping an eye on Marte because you look at a couple of at-bats. Don't want to make a big deal out of it, but this is the 1st inning. You see him kind of wrenching his back a bit, feeling that lower back. And then later in the 3rd inning, after hitting this fly ball to Peter Borges, and center Borges made the catch at the wall. He comes out, and both Andrew McCutchen and Neil Walker.
That's lower back stuff.
Yeah, checking on him. At times he seems to be walking a bit gingerly. See if it has any effect here at the plate. No, hit hard, but right at second baseman Ellis. Marte is the first out as he faces Pat Neshek.
He has been stellar. 1.23 ERA in his first 17 trips. 14 innings, 18 strikeouts. All these guys come out of the bullpen throwing 95 miles an hour.
Except Neshek. How about this delivery, Steve? Unusual, obviously. Into that full windup, then kind of the herky-jerky, and then the slingshot.
You get the double clutch and the spring-loaded release.
It's going to be tough to pick up, I would think. But certainly unusual.
Especially after you get your attention off the Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very herky-jerky, stop-start. Still gets his strikeouts.
Former Minnesota Twin. Some time with the Padres and A's. One and two. Drafted by the Twins in 1998. Went to Butler University. Turned down the Twins initially. And then after school, there's a fly ball to center field, and Borges. The ball carries out to the track. Let's go to Rob King, the studio, for a game break. All right, Rob, thank you. Here it is 3-3. The Brewers are 4 up on the Cardinals in the Central. 6 in front of Cincinnati, and the Pirates trail by 7.5. The first place Milwaukee Brewers. After this homestand, which ends Sunday night, Pirates will travel on Monday night to Milwaukee. 3-game series against the Brewers starts Tuesday, and then to Yankee Stadium next weekend. Take on the New York Yankees in interleague play. Excuse me, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tony Sanchez.
Yeah, Neshek, certainly not the 95-mile-an-hour guy you see so often.
And everybody else in that bullpen seems to on the mid to upper 90s. There's a fly ball to right, and it's going to be an easy inning for the veteran Pat Neshek. 1-2-3 in a 3-3 ball game.
As we move to the 7th inning, in addition to his skills on the diamond, Neil Walker was also quite a football player at Pine Ridge High School. So could we have heard his name called at the NFL draft? Well, maybe. But since the draft is currently going on in New York City, we wanted to tell you that former Heisman Trophy winner Vic Janowitz was selected by the Redskins in the 1952 draft, but would then go on to play for the Pirates in 1953 and 54. And just because we're playing the Cardinals, Brian Jordan was a 7th-round selection of the Bills in 1989, but decided to stick with the Redbirds, who drafted him in 1988. Good decision. He hit almost 200 home runs, guys.
He was a heck of a football player and not a bad baseball player for the Cardinals. Talking about Brian Jordan.
Rick Janowitz is out of Ohio State, I believe.
Matt Carpenter, count of 1 ball and 1 strike. The Ohio State University got a big play around here in the draft yesterday for the Steelers. Dribbler, Alvarez. Carpenter is retired. What is now a battle of the bullpens. And Carpenter doubled his first time up against Francisco Liriano. Since then, he has struck out and bounced out twice to second. Ball one. Steve, I'm trying to think of the guy that played for both the Steelers and the Pirates. You know the answer to that trivia question.
Rex Johnston.
Yeah.
1964 from USC.
Yep. Rex Johnston.
Played together in the minor leagues. He ran back kicks for the Steelers. Played the outfield for the Bucks.
We discussed that the other day with Bob about whether he thinks there will ever be another Brian Jordan or Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson.
Almost with the money involved now, if you want to have somebody play for your team, you're going to restrict them to your team. You don't want them to get hurt playing some other sport. Too much money, economics.
3-1 on Peralta. That's hit well to center. McCutcheon to the wall. Gone. And the Cardinals take the lead here in the 7th on Johnny Peralta's 8th home run of the season. He's hit half of them against the Pirates.
The running Redbirds, as they used to be known, going with the long ball tonight. 3-run shot, solo shot, 4-3 lead. It's just so dangerous now, and Jean-Marc can't believe it, but he's been watching the flags. You get that kind of height, you got a chance to get that kind of distance.
Peralta now with 8 hits and 22 at bats this season against Pirates pitching, with 4 homers.
You certainly don't want the Cardinals to break out of their hitting miseries here in Pittsburgh. As you said, they did get 7 Wednesday against the Atlanta Braves. Well, that ball goes up over the home run wall and then hides.
Grounded. Mercer. 2 outs. Carlos Martinez starts to loosen up in the Cardinal bullpen. The Pirates, they have the lefty Justin Wilson up. And that's going to be it for Gomez, as Glenn Hurdle wants the left-hander to face Matt Adams. Gomez will go 1 2/3, allow 2 hits. And moments ago, the home run by Peralta. Justin Wilson coming on. hitting almost like never before, certainly at Coors Field. And for guys like Troy Tulowitzki, who came in batting .407, it's ridiculous. They've got, let's see, Blackman, Tulo, Morneau, Arenado, 4 of the top 10 hitters in the National League playing for the Colorado Rockies. Now Justin Wilson facing Matt Adams.
Back to the Blake Street Bombers.
Those splits the reason why Clint Hurdle brings on Wilson. This doesn't happen too often with Clint Hurdle. He likes to use both Wilson and Watson against both lefties and righties, but in this situation, it makes all the sense in the world to bring Wilson on to face a left-handed hitter, even though you see those numbers, kind of what Steve talked about earlier with Liriano. You figure you're going to get back to the mean. This ball's popped out of play.
Yeah, you've got such a long stretch. History usually dictates that you come back to form, especially in those kind of matchups, lefties against lefties.
Jeanmar Gomez gives up the home run to Peralta, and the Cardinals up by a run. Justin Wilson takes care of Matt Adams. We'll keep it right here. A big crowd on hand to see Take Me Out to the Ball Game, to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and hopefully see the Pirates pull off another come from behind victory. They're down by 1. Heading to the bottom of the 7th inning, Jordy Mercer will lead things off. He'll be followed by a pinch hitter, then Jose Tabata, and if anybody gets on, Neil Walker.
And join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Back at PNC Park, the Pirates down by 1. Jordy Mercer leads off this bottom of the 7th inning, and here is one of their flamethrowers, young Carlos Martinez.
Interesting. He throws the ball so hard, and Nishek had better strikeout to inning ratio than Martinez. But this young man has been very impressive with his speed.
Starts him off with 98. This ball lined into center field. Off-speed pitch. Jordy Mercer has a 2-hit night.
Looking for the heat. Got it.
He started off with a fastball and then an off-speed pitch. He singles to center field. A good piece of hitting there from Jordy Mercer. Gabby Sanchez is up. Gabby Sanchez is not up there to bunt. You would not think. If Clint Hurdle wanted him to bunt, he might, or wanted a bunt here, he might bring up a Josh Harrison. But he figures Gabby Sanchez, good fastball hitter. That's for Wilson. Broken bat, little flare. That's going to work. Base hit. 96. Breaks a bat. And a knock for Gabby Sanchez. 2 on, and now Tabata might be asked to bunt.
And on the fist, strong enough to push it out to the outfield.
Pinch hit single for Gabby Sanchez. Tabata checks in with Nick Leyva. We've talked before about some Pirate players, including Tabata, who has kind of struggled to get down the sacrifice bunt. You wonder, Steve, because of the struggles, does Hurdle take it off? This is an obvious bunting situation.
But it has been a struggle, and now the Cardinal infielders, pitcher and catcher in conference. And you wonder if they're going to be thinking about perhaps a wheel play where the shortstop comes over to cover third in case it's bunted down that way. They're certainly expecting the bunt. With Adams way in at first base. Carpenter, the step on the grass. So
Ellis almost covering the runner at second base. So he is squaring to bunt, and there is the second baseman sprinting toward first, and the shortstop Peralta started to head toward third. And it's ball 1.
Watch how it opens up the middle part of the infield. Now nobody's home. And of course, we all know that when you see that, sometimes that's an indication that you can just try to chop the ball back through the middle. Of course, you take the risk of chopping it right back to the pitcher, too.
But even if you do that, not much the pitcher could do. He gets the bunt down. They thought about third, and they get the out at first.
Yeah, because it was just soft enough. That bunt is more firm and gets out to the third baseman. Obviously, they set it up so the shortstop can cover third, and they get the force out. That was a perfecta. Absolutely perfect. Deadens the ball.
He's having a strong game. Jose Tabata gets down the sacrifice bunt. Tabata with a couple of hits, couple of runs scored, and now moves the runners 90 feet. The infield comes in to try and cut off the tying run. The batter, Neil Walker, 2 for 3. Ball 1. Well, that Tabata bunt was Gene Mashi-like.
What?
The Giants pitcher the other night.
Oh,
Gene Mashi.
Yeah.
He has 3 professional at bats. He drops a perfect bunt down.
Yep. That pitch just delivered to Neil was clocked at 100 miles an hour, by the way.
Tying run 90 feet away, infield tight. Ball 2. Both hits for Walker against Waka. Hit to left center. He flied out his second at bat. .100 miles an hour.
That makes it so difficult because if you want to catch up with that, you got to start your swing pretty early. And if he doesn't throw you the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, then you could screw yourself right into the ground.
Steve likes to point out oftentimes wild pitches. He's thrown 2 as Carlos Martinez, which makes you think that Walker might see nothing but fastballs. And now he's not sure, so Molina going to talk to him about it.
Chorus of boos.
is where the confidence comes in, Steve, for a pitcher when you got a Gold Glover like Molina, not afraid to.
Well, Molina might be telling, hey, don't, if you want to throw a breaking ball, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm there for you. It might be something completely different, but that could have been the conversation. Got to be talking about pitch selection. This nice turnout. Big crowd tonight here at PNC Park, and they're looking for the Pirates to overtake the Cardinals. Terrific Friday night turnout.
So 2-1 now, and Walker at the plate with runners at second and third, and the infield in. Mercer at third, Gabby Sanchez at second. What does he throw Walker here? One away from the fastball.
Yep.
After he threw 3 straight fastballs, 2 at 100 miles per hour. The second one at 99. Well, maybe that's exactly what Molina went out there to say. Don't worry about throwing that breaking pitch.
Yeah, trust yourself and me. But it also enhances even a 100-mile-an-hour fastball when you show him a breaking ball.
Does he get another curveball here?
I don't think so.
For more heat. Drive to right. Way back. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. The real deal. Hits the off-speed pitch out up here to give the Pirates the lead. Walker's 7th of the year. The Bucks take a 6-4 lead in the 7th.
Exactly right. Off-speed pitch. And now what you do, you kick yourself if you're out there, because what is your number 1 pitch? And it's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. If you go with a fastball and it gets hit out like that, okay, he hit my best shot, but you live with it. And if you fool him, well, you got that working too. But Neil Walker just clubs it into the seats. Clubs it.
What an at-bat. What a game he's had.
He knows it.
Man.
Everybody knows it. We have come to look at that in the background of Neil putting his hands up and seeing the fans do the same thing as he hits off to first base.
Now Adams will make the catch in foul territory for the second out. And they're still buzzing here after Neil Walker hits his 7th home run of the season.
He is on this. You just wonder if you went right up to Neil now. Were you looking off speed? Almost think you have to. And these guys hate to say they guess.
Fans react.
There it is. Arms up. Because think about it. If you're looking for an off-speed pitch, you're never going to catch up with 100 miles an hour 90% of the time. So good for him.
His first homer since April the 20th against the Brewers. Now that off of Martinez. And on to Carpenter. Neil Walker goes deep for the 7th time this season and gives the Buccos the lead. What a big hit from Neil Walker.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to a Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Neil Walker's home run electrified this crowd. 33,696. Walker with 7 home runs this season, second only to the Twins' Brian Dozier, who has hit 8. Here's a look at the attendance figure.
You get that attendance tonight and you get a win for the Pittsburgh Pirates, you are going to set the stage for one heck of a weekend here at PNC Park.
Tomorrow night, and don't forget again, Sunday night on the national stage right here at PNC Park. Charlie Morton goes tomorrow.
Need to put up 6 outs to set that stage.
Carlos Martinez had not given up a home run since August the 8th. The only home run he gave up last season in his 21 outings for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he gives up his first home run this season to Neil Walker. And that's a big one. He's still kicking himself.
We got a guy who is better than that. Chance we might see him in the 9th inning.
Mark the Sharp.
Yep. Very, very stingy.
That is pulled foul.
Neil Walker just ran into one.
Jose Tabata has had a big night. Got the bunt down.
Don't forget Gabby Sanchez.
Yep, pinch hit, broken bat single. And Tony Watson takes care of Yadier Molina. Follow every Pirates game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Pirates.com. Molina goes down swinging to start the 8th. Here's Alan Craig. Fouls this one out of play. Now, these two clubs so evenly matched last season. When you include the 5 National League Division Series games, they split the season series 12 apiece, and they came into tonight's action, each winning 3 of the 6 played. Here's game 1, back and forth. The Pirates had the 2-0 lead going into the 4th when Craig homered, his 4th of the season. And in the bottom of the 5th inning, Neil Walker tied it, scoring Jose Tabata, who had doubled. And moments ago, Walker gave the Pirates the lead back. And that was over the head of Jordy Mercer. 2-hit night for Craig. Watson gives up the 1-out single. AT&T fan photo. Check it out. From Berlin, Germany. Jared wearing the Pirate colors. Black and gold in Germany. Thanks to Jared for that AT&T fan photo. Popped up, going to be out of play.
Carry the banner. Take it everywhere. Carry the colors. Were you still working everything? He's ready to raise the Jolly Roger.
Yes, sir.
He's already got it raised.
Yeah.
I like your confidence, young man.
Blocked by Sanchez on the 0-1 pitch to Peter Borges. Borges tripled in the 4th off the right center field wall. 1 for 3 tonight. Came over from the Angels for David Freese over the winter. 1-2 now on Borges. Tony Watson takes over. Justin Wilson got the last out in the 7th. He struck out Matt Adams. And if the Pirates can get 5 more outs, Wilson would get a W. That work to be done. And then Borges pops this ball up and out of play. Action for the Cardinals. Kevin Segrist is the lefty. Eric Fornataro is the right-hander. Down on strikes goes Borges. 2 outs, both strikeouts for Tony Watson. Watson picked up the win on Tuesday night. The Pirates walked off. He pitched a scoreless inning.
Not much you can do with that delivery. Best thing to do is let it walk on by, but he takes a swing and comes up empty, as just about everybody would.
How about that, Steve? 21 strikeouts now for Tony Watson in 14 2/3 innings. 21 punch-outs.
Impressive.
Thinking down the road, I know we've been asked this on occasion in advance of a year or so. What would the makeup of the bullpen be in the later innings? Who would close if it weren't, say, Grilly next year, or if it weren't Melanson? There's a guy here who
certainly a strong candidate.
He's as cool as they come, and
he does a lot of pitching, not just throwing.
On a strike on Mark Ellis.
Want it down and in. Get it kind of up over the plate. They don't hit every mistake.
Ellis has struck out, was walked intentionally, and he doubled in the 6th inning off Jeanmar Gomez.
Take him yourself, Tony.
Outstanding defensive second baseman Mark Ellis. They made some changes over the winter, these Cardinals. They figured to really shore things up defensively, with Ellis at second, moving Carpenter over to his natural third base position. Borges was to play center field every day. This ball hit. Oh, stabbed by the ball! Bullseye! Robbing Ellis and ending the top of the 8th inning.
Hot play at the hot corner. 1-run ball game. Do you like this play? And a strong throw. Oh, Pedro picked it. 1-run ball game. Shuts down the 8th inning. Going to his left. And sending the Pirates back into the dugout. Good stuff. Big man getting it done.
He's made a handful of those plays the last couple of weeks. There's our boy out there. Buccaneer. Starling Marte.
Fierce looking Buccaneer.
Eric Fornataro made his big league debut a couple weeks ago. Houston, Texas native, a 6th round pick 6 years ago by these Redbirds. One and two on Marte, who's 0 for 3.
Martinez won an inning. You know what happened to him. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. The 3-run home run by Neil Walker, putting the Pirates up by 2.
Checks and takes. But missed. 3 and 2.
Got no problem with picking up another run or 2 or whatever.
Bounce left side. Third baseman Carpenter gets Marte. This week's Inside Pirates Baseball, Roberto Clemente gets hit number 3,000 for our Buck Money moment. Jason Grilly cooks up some grilled cheese for the community, and much more. Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Had to use the Root Sports tarp earlier tonight.
Briefly.
Yeah. A 25-minute rain delay. It's bounced by Davis to shallow right field, and a safe call there. Ike Davis, with Alice playing on the outfield grass, had to move in and a little bit over to his right, and Ike Davis knows he's not going to get many infield hits.
This whole thing looked like it was in slow motion.
So Ellis has to go over and a bit in. Ike Davis legs out an infield single. He is 2 for 4.
He gets involved in those close plays.
Yeah.
The play at the plate earlier.
Tony Sanchez takes the pitch downstairs.
Ike saying, you know, I've got that quick speed, that sneaky speed. Sneaky quick.
A play. Sanchez 0 for 3.
Greg, I look up at the scoreboard, and I would not have believed you if you told me there would be 10 runs in this ball game with 2 starters.
Nope.
But, nothing guaranteed.
Never know. You just can't bet on a well pitched game or
no
low scoring game.
Can't predict.
One ball, 2 strikes. And it's popped up. Gorgeous. 2 outs. Now Fornataro will face Jordy Mercer, who has a couple of hits. And he started last inning with that base hit to center field that set in motion the comeback. Gabby Sanchez followed with a broken bat single. After Tabata had dropped down the bunt, the infield came in, and Walker crushed his 7th home run of the season. A 2-strike pitch, 2-2, I believe the count was. There's a line drive to right field. That's a fair ball. Mike Davis is going to head to third, and he's going to be held there on the double the other way by Jordy Mercer.
Oh, how good does this feel to the Pirates shortstop? A breakout night with 3 hits. And a big part of this ball game so far offensively for the Pirates shortstop.
Mercer enjoys his first 3-hit night of the season. An 8th of his career. And Vargas in the dugout there with Brent Morrell, and now Josh Harrison will pinch hit for Tony Watson. Melanson getting ready. Right now the Pirates lead by 2. A base hit could end the save opportunity, but Pirates will certainly take that.
Yeah, let's get that and adjust.
Yep. Could not check his swing. He thought he had.
Just looking back at the umpire, I didn't do that. Yes, you did.
Oh, and 2. Ball 2 strikes on Jay Hay. It's into right. Craig makes the catch, so Mark the Shark will be coming on with a 2-run lead, looking to save it. Justin Wilson. Nissan's road ahead. We talked about it earlier. Pirates and Cardinals have Lance Lynn on the hill. The Pirates had Edinson Volquez. And then Sunday night, it's Charlie Morton for the Bucks against Shelby Miller. That's our Nissan road ahead. And don't forget, that's a nationally televised game. 8:05 first pitch Sunday night. Mother's Day. And free tote bags to all the moms. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. Great atmosphere tonight. We hope to have the same tomorrow night for the fireworks night, and of course Sunday night for the nationally televised game. As the baseball world nationally will focus once again on the city of Pittsburgh Sunday night. Right now focusing in on Mark Melanson.
And he does have a little wiggle room. The Pirates lead it by 2. Up the save Wednesday afternoon against the San Francisco Giants before the off day yesterday. Liriano, Gomez, Wilson, Watson, Melanson.
Daniel Descalso will pinch hit. Ball one. Ball and a strike as the fastball was fouled off by Daniel Descalso. 139 hitter, 2 for 7 off the bench. For Melanson, he's thrown a couple of scoreless innings against these Cardinals this season. He had 4 saves last year against them. Liner to right. And a base hit for Descalso. And he's into second base with a double. Pinch hit double for Descalso.
Cardinals get it going. It was a rough outing Monday night as Mark Melanson blew a save opportunity against the Giants, but then came back on Wednesday and picked one up. Does have that extra run to work with. So you're aware of Descalso, but his run means nothing.
Matt Carpenter. In on his hands, rolled to second. 1 out. Melanson gets the first out of the ninth and now needs to get through Peralta, Holiday, and if somebody else gets on, then Matt Adams. Reminder, after the game, Rob King and Bob Walk will join you for post-game analysis. You heard me.
Yep.
Bob Walk.
He gets to question us, huh?
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Can't imagine him questioning us.
No.
And a liner caught by Neil Walker. 2 outs in the ninth.
Spotlight once again here on Neil Walker. Goes up in the air. He goes up pretty good, but we know that Neil Walker can get up higher than that. But he gets up and gets us 1 out away from a big win. Win number 1 in this series. I think it's huge.
Yeah, the Pirates would get the first W of this series. They'd go 1 up on the Cardinals in the season series.
They keep rolling back toward that 500 mark. A little 3-in-a-row spot up.
Well, they're trying to win their 5th game in their last 7.
And have we won 3 in a row this year? Let me check. I thought I saw that note for the Pirates.
A little mini 3-game winning streak on the line. Would be the first 3-game win streak of the season. Tough customer here, though. Steve mentioned this, that Holiday at times has gone the other way. Well, certainly when pitched away. And Melanson, that's kind of his MO. Does he stay with that?
Well, again, that's the number 1 pitch. You go back to the Martinez situation, went off speed, your second best pitch and got burned. Let's see how they set it up. It'll tell you everything. If they want to try to move him away from the plate one time, or no, back out. Too far.
That cutter from Melanson, his bread and butter. See the defense. No doubles, certainly in the outfield.
And almost on the warning track and left for Marte. Back away. They want it away. And, you know, you look at a strong wind to left field, and here's a guy who's certainly strong enough. He's only got 2 home runs, but he can hurt you in terms of the game more on an inside pitch.
Well, that broke his bat, so he's going to get a new stick.
When he's gone to right field a good bit of the time, he's punched the ball. It's not the big home run type swing.
We mentioned earlier that he came in hitting .444 with runners in scoring position this season. Second best average in the league in these situations. He's been on base twice tonight. He's officially 1 for 2.
I've never seen 3 Pirate outfielders play as deep. All of them 2 steps away from the track.
Hangs in there. This will give you an idea how deep they are.
Hard to almost see top of it. Yeah, that's playing deep. It's about as deep as you're going to see that trio.
Keeps throwing the cutter. Does he throw it again?
Well,
to Holiday.
Depends on the catcher. Yes,
he does, and it's a ground ball to second. Neil Walker plays the Jolly Roger. The Pirates have won 3 in a row, and they take game 1 of this 3-game series against the reigning National League champion Cardinals.
And who else to clean it up but Neil Walker, taking care of all 3 outs in the 9th inning after putting the Pirates ahead with his 3-run home run. Terrific win, solid win for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and an important one. What a way to start the series.
In front of 33,696, Neil Walker leads the way with a 3-hit night, the 3-run homer that came in the bottom of the 7th inning and gave the Pirates the 6-4 lead as they trailed going into the bottom half following the Peralta home run. So Clint Hurdle's club has won not only 3 in a row but 5 of their last 7 games, with 2 more to play on this homestand tomorrow night, 7:05, and don't forget, Sunday Night Baseball, nationally televised here at PNC Park. The finale, go to Pirates.com for tickets. Charlie Morton against Shelby Miller. Let's go back out now. Post-game show and Rob King.
Thank you, Greg and Steve. Bob Walker to be joining me shortly. Kent DeColvey has the night off. Pirates win by the final score of 6-4. You heard Greg Brown talk about it. The winning ways here at home continue. And just like we promised earlier in the game, it is Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite, and Neil Walker pounds one out to right field off Carlos Martinez with the Bucks down 4-3. That puts him on top 6-4. A 3-run homer, his 7th of the year, capping off a big night at the plate for Neil Walker. 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Pirates winning by the final score of 6-4. And Neil Walker standing by downstairs with Dan Potas. Danny?
What a great way to start victory over the St. Louis Cardinals, and it certainly wasn't easy. However, Neil, I need to ask you about your at-bat against Carlos Martinez. The guy hit 99, 100, 100 again. How difficult was it to time your swing, to sit on something, and then find good wood to put it in the seats and right?
Well, when you get in those situations, you're just trying to shorten up and use the big part of the field, and no matter how hard the guy's throwing, what he's throwing, you're just trying to look for something out of the plate and keep it simple. So I was fortunate enough to get in a spot where he threw me a pitch that was out over the plate, and I was able to my goal was just to try to get that run in from third any way I could, and luckily I was able to pull one out of the ballpark.
Looking at your stats over the last few games, you're now 12 for your last 30 with 10 runs batted in, 6 runs scored. Are you seeing things a little bit differently, at least in the month of May?
Well, I'm getting my swing off. I feel good. I'm seeing the ball, so those are all positive signs as far as an approach is concerned. So. You never like to get ahead of yourself, but when I'm keeping it simple and using the big part of the field, I'm usually pretty successful.
You win a series against the Jays, another one against the Giants. You take game 1 here. The Pirates have now won 3 straight for the first time this season. Starting to feel or find a little groove?
Well, we obviously didn't play real good there at the later part of April and early May. So our goal is to win series, and if we can do that, whether it's a 3-game, 2-game, 4-game series, whatever the case may be, we're going to have a lot of success. So that's what we're doing right now.
Well done. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, DP.
Rob King, it's all yours, buddy.
Dan and Neil, thanks very much. And when you look at it, really, it was just that one wretched stretch of about 3 weeks. The Pirates started 6-3. They've been 5-2 in their last 7 at 4-15 mark. They're still trying to dig out of from the 11th of April till the end of the month. And they've turned the calendar here in May and started playing good baseball. Coming up next on Pirates Postgame, presented by the Allegheny Health Network, we will be joined by Bob Walk, who will come down from the radio booth to join us. We'll also be talking with Greg and Steve. Bob will help us preview the game coming up tomorrow. We'll have highlights and post-game reactions from the 6-3 victory for the Pirates coming up next.